promised, we delivered. Guam AutoSpot is extending our overstock sell-off with the hottest deals on island, like our 2025 GMC Canyon with $4,000 off. Or slide into a brand new Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, starting at just $24,995. September is your chance to drive big and save even bigger. Visit us today or get pre-approved online at guamautospot.com or call 478-AUTO. Guam AutoSpot, where the savings never stop.
Buy fuel, get Wendy's. Drive to your nearest 76 Circle K and get free Wendy's. Yes, free. Fuel up with $30 and score your choice of a 6-piece crispy chicken nuggets or a juicy junior cheeseburger deluxe. Fresh, hot, and packed with flavor. But hurry, quantities are limited and this delicious deal won't last long. So hit the road to 76 Circle K, fuel up, and get Wendy's free before it's gone.
Dare to try? Something new? Life's too short!
You gotta chill with the snackable drink.
Life is too short. Hey, you gotta chill.
Mogu Mogu.
Moku moku!
It's me, Wednesday Addams. I regret to inform you that I have devised the meal of misfortune with Wendy's. Normally, I'd be against this type of capitalistic corporate synergy. But when the other pigtailed provocateur said I could concoct my own Frosty, I melted. My meal is tribute to the suffering that awaits us all. It's pure torture for your taste buds, with 4 nightmarish dips of dread. Don't waste my time asking which ones you'll get. You must surrender to your fate. Enjoy the anguish.
Good Morning Show with Troy Torres is brought to you by 76 Circle K Guam.
Good morning. It is 11:18 a.m. on Wednesday, September 24, 2025. My name is Troy Torres. Thank you so much for joining me today. Yesterday in the afternoon, the federal government unsealed 2 warrants that were used by the grand jury to indict Charissa Tenorio and 6 others on June 25, 2025. These search warrants were applied for by the lead investigator by the FBI in the case against Ms. Tenorio in the PUA. We're talking about the PUA fraud stuff. We're not talking about all the other stuff that we've been reporting on, okay? This is just the PUA fraud stuff. FBI Special Agent Jamie Cavett, who was the lead investigator in this, on August 12 last year, applied for 2 search warrants. Warrants 24MJ-00095 and 00096. And those search warrants were executed. They were signed by the judge on the same day, and they were executed a few days later by the FBI in raids against Charissa Tenorio and Comfort Cuts. They were sealed up until yesterday. And in that warrant, so we did a story about it yesterday. I did a live editorial on the generalities of these search warrants, and the angle that we took yesterday was really the damning information from the FBI agent that the FBI, because of their monitoring, they were aware that the director of labor in 2021 told the governor and lieutenant governor about the federal investigation. That information got to the conspirators. The conspirators were tipped off, and it led to, according to Special Agent Kandit, Charissa Tenorio contacting 24 of the witnesses in the case in an attempt to tamper with or intimidate them and to have them lie to the FBI about the case. And pretty big deal, right? So today, we put out a story about another angle to this, more information that appears in these warrants that you don't see in the indictments. And this is interesting to us because of our investigations here at Kandit over the past several months. In the affidavits for the warrants, Jamie Kandit says, in no uncertain terms, that emails to and from the Guam Department of Labor and its PUA program with comfort cuts with Charissa Tenorio. They even list the email addresses, same email addresses that we listed, and I'll talk to you about that in a second. Emails that were furthering with communication and furtherance of the conspiracy. So to make a long story short, let's skip over the part about because we've already talked about this over and over, right? You don't need to rehash of what the actual PUA allegations are, right? So in order to make the conspiracy work, especially for people who did not know that Charissa Tenorio and others had allegedly applied for PUA using their information, in order for those people to not be aware, to continue to not be aware that they were receiving federal pandemic unemployment benefits that allegedly Charissa Tenorio and maybe others were stealing from them, Charissa Tenorio allegedly, according to these warrants, would have one or more of the other co-conspirators who worked in the Department of Labor release the checks directly to Charissa Tenorio. And in order for that to happen, they had to communicate. And what the FBI agent is saying is that many of these communications happened over email. And so in these warrants, the FBI agent is saying that there are emails, that according to their investigation, there are emails that took place between Charissa Tenorio and employees and co-conspirators within the Guam Department of Labor PUA program. And why that's so interesting to us here at Kandit is because on September 3, we FOIA'd Dave De La Sola, the Director of Labor, for these emails. And on September 5, David De La Sola wrote us back and said that there are no documents responsive to our requests at the Department of Labor. And when we got that letter, we thought, this doesn't seem right. How is it that there are no emails? Like this just doesn't sound like something. There's something up here. And so one of the things that I am thinking could be the case is that they don't actually have custody of the emails anymore because the people involved no longer work at the Department of Labor. But there could have been a very simple remedy. If that really is the truth, if that's the excuse at least, there's a very simple remedy to that. David De La Sola or whoever over at the Department of Labor could have contacted the Office of Technology, which would have access to the administration of the Google accounts, even to the deleted emails, even to the deleted accounts. And they should not be deleted because that would be illegal unless they received the permission of the Attorney General to delete these files. That's according to the law. If David De La Sola, if this is the case, that they no longer had custody of it, this is why they said that they don't have anything responsive to our requests. But all they had to do was go to their next door neighbor in the government, the Office of Technology, and say, can you resurrect these emails and send them over to Kandit because they have sent a FOIA over to us? Then at least they would have been honest, and at least the Department of Labor would have shown the public that they have nothing to hide. And they are cooperating not just with whatever investigation, but with the public's desire to know from this administration that it is not involved in the corruption that's being alleged, that involves the lieutenant governor's family, and that the administration under Governor Lulian Guerrero does not condone whatsoever, in fact, condemns any of these activities. It would have at least shown that. And this is not an isolated incident. Department of Labor is not the only government of Guam agency from which we have seen over the past several months attempts to cover up the alleged wrongdoing of the Tenorio family in business related to the government of Guam. In a FOIA that we sent in January, that was replied to in February by the president of the Department of Chamorro Affairs, we find out several months later in the comparison of documents that purposely or just as a coincidence and accidentally, files from those disclosures that would have shown bid splitting to the benefit of comfort cuts over at Department of Chamorro Affairs were left out of those disclosures, out of a Freedom of Information Act demand for documents. Just left out. Purchase orders left out of the disclosures that coincidentally or not are about comfort cuts. And then when all of the media asked for the Tiguac Cemetery stuff, all of us found out that numerous documents, as in 2 entire fiscal years worth of documents, are missing from the Department of Parks and Recreation. We find out that the General Services Agency doesn't even have all of these documents. We find out from GSA that they don't have any of the documents in the Chamorro Affairs stuff. This stuff just goes on. And on August, here's another example. On August 20, I FOIA'd the Department of Administration for all of the financial transactions involving Teresa Tenorio, Frankie Rosalind, and their several businesses. To this day, and even despite several follow-ups to Ed Byrne, the Director of Administration, and to Crystal Paco San Agustin, they have not responded to our FOIA, and they have not disclosed these public records showing how much money this Leon Guerrero Tenorio administration has paid to the Tenorio family since this Leon Guerrero Tenorio administration took office. And so if the governor and her administration are going to say that they're innocent, that they don't condone this sort of stuff, that corruption is not their thing, that they are transparent, that they are doing things right, that their concern is for the people of Guam, it sure as heck isn't showing in their actions. It sure as heck is not showing through the opacity of their disclosures and non-disclosures. Because if the governor was very serious about this stuff, she would tell her directors who've been impediments, not just to criminal justice, but also to this island knowing and finding out more about the business of the lieutenant governor and his family over taxpayer funds. She would be telling the directors, stop getting in the way of the media. Release everything. Answer their questions. Because right now it doesn't make any sense. And when you put all of this stuff together, what's not adding up, it doesn't add up to the governor is transparent. It doesn't add up to the governor is not corrupt. It doesn't add up to the governor hates corruption. It doesn't add up to the governor is all about honesty and integrity in public service. It doesn't add up to the governor is transparent. Even though all of those things are what the administration continues to say about the governor, the actions of the administration all the way up to Adelup don't add up to what they're saying about themselves. And so, and I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know who's advising them, because from the time that the indictment happened to the end of this trial, which for now is scheduled to begin in early December, which means it will be over before Christmas. From the time of the indictment to the end of the trial, the lawyers have to be telling the political people, hey, look, all of these things, there's going to be this during this entire period, it's going to be a slow drip of information. And if we don't get in front of all of this stuff now, because if you don't tell us, the lawyers, what it is that everyone's responsible for, and if we don't get in front of this now, it's going to be like a slow death every step of the way. Because they had to have known that more details were going to come out in the warrants. They had to have known that at some time these warrants were going to be unsealed. And if I were the one advising them, I would let them know, if you look at those 2 warrants, they would know, they would see that there's at least 4 more warrants to unseal. And that doesn't even get to the pretrial motions that will be filed, to the trial briefs, to the witness lists, all of these things that will raise additional details about this case and who knew what and who was hiding what and who was trying to obstruct justice. This is really bad, and that isn't even before the trial starts. This is pretty bad. And you have an administration that wants us to trust it with more money to build a new hospital. I want them to build a new hospital too, but there ain't no way right now I'm going to agree with giving the governor, the administration, more power over money, more authority to do things without oversight after all of this that's happening, after all that is being revealed. And it's either you believe this FBI special agent or you don't. And if you don't believe this FBI special agent, okay, fine, whatever. Wait for whatever. If you don't see the black and white that's happening already, okay, whatever. But if you believe this FBI special agent and what she is telling to the federal court under penalty of perjury, then we've been screwed. And our administration isn't saying much. Later on today, we're going to bring you some breaking news about what might be coming down from the Guam legislature as a result of the unveiling of the unsealing of these warrants from yesterday and the details that were provided by Special Agent Jamie Cavett that are now public. You're going to want to hear all about this. For now, I'm Troy Torres for Kandit News. God bless you. You all have a good day.
You asked, we delivered. Guam AutoSpot is extending our overstock sell-off with the hottest deals on island, like our 2025 GMC Canyon with $4,000 off. Or slide into a brand new Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, starting at just $24,995. September is your chance to drive big and save even bigger. Visit us today or get pre-approved online at guamautospot.com or call 478-AUTO. Guam AutoSpot, where the savings never stop.
Dare to try? Something new? Life's too short!
You gotta chill with a snackable drink.
Life is too short. Hey, you gotta chill.
Mogu Mogu.
Moku moku!
Buy fuel, get Wendy's. Drive to your nearest 76 Circle K and get free Wendy's. Yes, free. Fuel up with $30 and score your choice of a 6-piece crispy chicken nuggets or a juicy junior cheeseburger deluxe. Fresh, hot, and packed with flavor. But hurry, quantities are limited and this delicious deal won't last long. So hit the road to 76 Circle K, fuel up, and get Wendy's free before it's gone.